Hello, beautiful people, and a beautiful day it is here in Boston. We have the head of the Charles crew, that means rowing, regatta here, and it's a beautiful day, and there's 400,000 people apparently lining the banks of the Charles River in Cambridge. Yesterday I saw some of the Olympic medalists race by with their beautiful forms and their light crew boats just skimming over the waves. Unbelievable. What a sport. Personally, I don't think anything is a sport unless it has a ball involved, but we won't go into that today. We have bigger fish to fly. Anyway, nice to see you all. Happy autumn days here in the Brocade Woods of New England. I don't know where you are, but here we are all together in this virtual space, the virtual town hall meditation. So let's begin with a little moment of silence for all those who are suffering immensely at the hands of war and violence and oppression in Gaza, in Lebanon, in the Ukraine, and elsewhere, even in our own cities with multiple shootings and other things everybody's concerned about these days, these tumultuous days. And it is an election year, so please come out and vote. There's no point in grizzling and complaining and moaning if you don't try to do your part, or even more. Contribute. Make it happen. Let's lift ourselves up by our bootstraps, as they say. Pull up our socks. Or as Trungpa Rinpoche said, even if you're not wearing socks, pull up your damn pants. You hippies. That's what he meant. It was in the 1970s. Oh, mane pemi hori. Oh, mane pemi hori. Oh, mane pemi hori. Oh, mane pemi ho. Mane pemi ho. Oh, mommy, pray me home. Oh, mane pemi hori. May all beings be fulfilled, content, and happy. Oh, mani padme hori. May all beings be free. Oh, mani padme hori. Oh, mani padme hori. Oh, mommy, pray me hori. Oh, mani padme 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 hori. We are the place where Buddha shines through. They and I are one, not two. They need me where and as we am. We need not think, nor fear, nor plan, when we can be relaxed, content, and free. All those on high will work their sacred magic and healing powers through we. And homage to the Buddha, the light, the divine in your seat. Don't overlook them. Ah, how sweet it is. We've arrived at last. Here and now. Who knew? It was right under our nose. Or as sitters, under our butt all the time. Here in Buddhist Standard Time, BST. Not Eastern Standard Time, Western. There's no direction, there's no gender, there's no ism in the ultimate, in the singularity, in the oneness, in the totality, the wholeness, the one, whatever we call it. The divine. Just sitting, just breathing, just being aware. The three meditators' jewels, the triple refuge of the meditator, natural body, natural breath and energy, natural heart mind, the three kayas, imaho, natural body, nirmanakaya, perfect embodiment, natural breath and energy, sambhogakaya, perfect delight or flow or energy, and third, natural heart mind, the dharmakaya, the natural state, the great consummation, the great connection, the natural great perfection of things left just as they are. They say, Buddha said, that there is nirvanic peace in things left just as they are. So leave it as it is and rest the weary heart and mind, driven relentlessly by waves of nam-toks, rumination, conceptual thinking, perseveration, overthinking, chitching, chit, like cicadas. Leave it as it is. Appreciate it as it is. Let it go. Let it come and go. Let it flow. And rest in the ever-present. The presence, nowness, the authentic, unfabricated Buddha within, as the Rinpoche sang. Tata Shepa, Rigpa, Soma Jempa. Naked, present wakefulness is the unfabricated organic Buddha within. Wow, what a radical war cry of wakefulness. Open to whatever is, whatever arises in the present moment, in the continuum of body-mind consciousness, body-mind spirit, wholeness, totality. Three in one, as the mystics call it. Beyond oneness, beyond noneness or emptiness also. Oneness can only take you so far. Don't over-idealize it and strive constantly for something that you don't have right now. You are Dzogchen. You are the natural great perfection. Not the ego you. Put the little self on the back burner, but the sublime self, the big self of our better nature, our angels, as Lincoln called it, our Buddha nature, our supreme self with a capital S, as Shankaracharya of India called it. The Buddha-ness within, beyond Buddhism, isms or schisms. Nature as it is. Who can complain if it's raining? Maybe it's good for the farmers and the green and growing things and the drought-ridden, what did I read about today? Totally droughted out somewhere that I hadn't even heard about before. Who can remember? tsunamis and floods on one hand, and hurricanes, droughts and famine on the other. The vacillations of this tenuous, floating bubble-like life. Let's take refuge in the green Buddha, Mother Nature, as it is right now, not just green and growing things. Our own breath, our own conscious awareness, our own togetherness, Sangha, Satsang, beloved community. How sweet it is. Imaho, way to go. Wondrous, miraculous, amazing. Swaha, hallelujah. Enjoy the joy of natural meditations, Dzogchen meditation. Just being with a capital B. Awareness with a capital A plus. Now in this awareness, the unfabricated Buddha among us all. Don't overlook it. Just as it's closer than your own nose, even closer than your own breath. Imaho. Thank you. Way to go. Yes. This breath, this moment, only moment. Just this much. This is it. This is God's grace. This is right karma. How do we know otherwise? Don't buy into your own judging and evaluating. Try just this and this and this breath, only breath, this moment, only moment. Imaho. Way to go. Thank you. And enjoy the joy of meditation, the joy of wakefulness, the joy of being prior to doing of various kinds, just being. What a miracle. Did we produce it ourselves? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Try it with eyes open. Forget about meditating. Just present and aware. Following the out breath if you need an anchor to present awareness. Otherwise, just resting aware in awareness itself. Awareness, aware of awareness. Non-dual, non-compartmentalized, beyond judging or evaluating or manipulating and interference. Just flow. Flow with the go. And remember, the great Tao flows through you right now. You don't have to try to get into the Tao. Flowing right through each of us, especially you right now. And now, way to go. Enjoy the show. Let go and let Buddha do it through you. Are you really the one who's doing the breathing? Just be breathed. Similarly with thoughts, feelings, perceptions, emotions. The theists say let go and let God do it. We say let go and let Buddha do it. Is it really a difference? It's all in the letting go, which means letting things come and go, letting be, not suppressing and not indulging in chains of discursive thinking, following chains of thoughts and getting tangled up in the barbed wire. Letting go means letting things come and go, letting be as it is, the nirvanic peace in things left just as they are right now, in this perfect place, this perfect time, this perfect gathering, this perfect path, this natural, organic, glorious, great perfection, great connection. Imaho. Rest in the center of the universal mandala, the spinning wheel of time and space. Kala chakra, the spinning wheel of time and space. Rest in the center, the unmoved axis, not the turning axle at the base of all the spokes. The unmoved axis, your central channel, center of your spine, untouched by the vagaries, the ups and downs, the vacillations of relative things and experiences, time and space. Unborn, deathless Dharmakaya, as Buddhism calls it. Our true nature, our Buddha-ness, our Buddha nature, our divine nature, the inner light, the clear light of reality, as the Dalai Lama calls it. Wow. Way to go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Leave it as it is. Cultivate equanimity, spiritual detachment, non-attachment. Just observe. Just witness, if you like that language. But don't separate yourself from your own perceptions and interpretations. It's all projection anyway. Everything is so subjective. Just like the temperature of the weather. Cold to some, warm to others. Subjective. Not objectively factual. Subjective. Not based on liking and disliking. Lama Surya says, there is no ultimate, unequivocal good or bad. There's only the liked and the wanted and the unwanted. That's a steep cliff to face of taking responsibility for one's own experience. Because it's not what happens to us, but what we make of it. It makes all the difference. We can't control the winds of nature, but we can learn how to sail and navigate better. That's the point of self-knowledge, self-development, self-mastery, if you like that word. Being master rather than victim of conditions and circumstances. Resting in the center of your being. Relaxed, balanced, resilient, not rigid, but not easily knocked off center. Again and again. The innate grape confection, how sweet it is. Open to the wisdom of allowing, radical acceptance. Read the book of that title by Tara Brach. Radical acceptance. Wonderful. A Buddhist teacher and yoga teacher. The great Zen master Hakuin of Japan sang hundreds of years ago, like water and ice, no separate Buddhas and beings by nature, all H2O, just in different temporary states. This very land is the pure land, nirvana, this very body, the body of Buddha. The Namanikaya Tulku in Tibetan, perfect embodiment. It's a very positive dharma, not a dukkha dharma. The joy of wakefulness, the joy of spirit, the joy of communion and a community. Imaho. Dory, could we see on the whiteboard my Millennium Prayer and Kempo's prayer, please, from the Dzogchen prayer book, Dzogchen Center prayer book? I don't seem to have my copy here today. I was using it yesterday for the funeral online. Thank you. Through the merit of this virtuous practice and altruistic aspiration, may the light of the Buddha's precious teaching remain in this world for ages to come, the basis for every single kind of benefit and happiness, worldly and spiritual. May the supreme holders of the teachings who uphold its living truth agree to live on for aeons, and their lotus feet stand firm in this world. And so may the sun of altruism and well-being in all its blazing splendor shine the brilliant light of the study and practice and accomplishment of Buddha Dharma throughout every corner of all possible universes. From your mouth to Buddha's ears, friends. May all beings everywhere with whom we are inseparably interconnected and who want and need the same as we do and are simply pursuing it through different ways, may they be awakened, liberated, healed, fulfilled, safe, and free. May there be peace and harmony in this world and an end to war and violence, poverty and hunger, inequality and oppression, greed and cruelty. May all be free from fear, harm, danger, anxiety, and insecurity. And may we all together complete this glorious spiritual journey. One beloved community, one Sangha, one satsang, one circle, one family, all the way home. Oh, look, so many beautiful, happy Buddha faces. Tom, I'm sorry to hear about your brother. May he be well and go in the light. So how do we bring Dharma into daily life, integrate it in daily life? Applied Dharma, not just enlightenment Dharma or bookstore Dharma or philosophical Dharma or half hour on the meditation cushion Dharma. But what about the other 23 and a half hours of the day and 6 days of the other 6 days of the week? That's where the path comes in. The Eightfold Path, the 8 steps to enlightenment, the 3 higher liberation trainings, ethical self-discipline, mindfulness and awareness cultivation, and wisdom and love, which if you break it out is the Eightfold Path. Bring it into every moment, not just jumping off your meditation seat and hurrying and kicking the cat out of the way so you can get to work. That's kind of contraindicated. There's many ways to think about this. Buddha was a monk, but still he found room in his Eightfold Path for right livelihood, wise vocation, making a life, not just a living livelihood that's not harming, but could even be helpful to others. Not everybody has to be in service, be a Mother Teresa, or be a doctor or a nurse or whatever, or a mother, but at least not harming people, not being an arms merchant, not being a pimp, not being in the, what do you call it today, human trafficking. I'm just looking around the room here. Joking. Leo. Don't take it personally, Dr. Leo. Leo was my straight man. He's a psychiatrist, so he's suspect, but he's in right livelihood, right everything, at least right family, and especially right humor. if Buddha was alive today, I'm sure the Eightfold Path would have a few extra innings, like ninth would be wise or right humor, and 10th would be right or wise relationships. Anyway, even a monk considered our livelihood, our vocation, how we take care of ourselves and each other and our families and our communities and our world, our environment. Look at that as part of the Eightfold Path. Step number 5, look it up. So that's the basics. It's not that obscure. It's not like a huge separation between the spiritual world and the really worldly world, whatever we want to call it. Samsara and Nirvana, they call it in Asia. Heaven and hell, you might say, in Judeo-Christian thinking. I don't know. Islam, I can't speak for. There's no hell in Buddhism. Everything's impermanent. There's also no permanent heaven. Freedom, enlightenment, wisdom, authenticity is beyond the dualistic thinking of permanent and impermanent. It's beyond time. Thus Buddha called it the unborn and undying Dharmakaya. Of course, in general, everything that's born dies, but not the clear light, or whatever you want to call it, the divine spark. The eternal flame is a symbol of that in the great temple, in the heart of Holy Lands everywhere. The eternal flame that miraculously never goes out. Maybe it's in our heart. I hope so. Bodhicitta. Anyway, there's a lot to say about this. I quoted the Zen master. We don't hear these things enough. This land is the pure land, nirvana. This body is the body of Buddha. He's not talking about Japan, friends. He's not talking about his old, wrinkled Japanese male body. You can point your finger at yourself when you say it, the one sitting on your seat. This land is the pure land, nirvana, this body, the body of Buddha. And let's make it so. What did we used to say in the 60s? I can't remember. Something like you're either part of the solution or part of the problem. All you need is love. Make love, not war, etc. Many good sayings. I hope some of our idealism is still with us. I'm just looking around the room. None of us is getting any younger. That's a Buddhist truth. I don't know, so a few of you are, but most of us, Bob Schmidt is, look at him. Olympic champion of good heart. Nice to see you all. Does anybody have any questions today? Please. On this gorgeous autumn Sunday, day of rest, has anybody noticed the moon the last few nights? Unbelievably clear. The full moon, often an image of enlightenment, at least in Asian thought. But that's not to deny the shadow or the, no moon also. It's still there, seen or not, from outside. Well, I'm glad everything is clear. I have a question. If it's true, as it says in the Havadra Tantra, the Laughing Diamond scripture, the Havadra Tantra, often quoted by my late refuge master, Guru Kala Rinpoche, and many others, you can look it up. We're all Buddhas by nature. It's only momentary obscurations that veil that fact. Then why don't we feel like Buddhas or enlightened, or I don't know, even happy rather than sad, confused, or depressed so much of the time? If what we're seeking is right under our nose or inside or everywhere, what the hell's going on around here in this madhouse, in this bumper car ride here at Coney Island of the mind? We keep turning the wheel madly, trying to, I don't know, get where you think you want to go. and the wheel is not connected to the wheels. It's the same word. It should be. Anybody been on the bumper cars? It's a great ride for kids, the kid in us, but it's not a way to drive the streets. So who are we really, and what's keeping us from it, whatever we seek? Love, peace, self-actualization, fulfillment, rebalancing. What's the word? The disturbed environment, the imbalanced earth. What's keeping us from it right now? And even more simply, what's keeping us from acting in our best interests? Trying to change what we ourselves tell ourselves and know are bad habits, but so hard to change, so hard to recondition and decondition. Everybody says they want to get out of their rut, but who's ready, willing, and able to face the unknown, to leave the comfy, smelly nest at the bottom of the rut? So these are a few of my questions. Recently, I asked a group of advanced meditators about the primordial Buddha Kuntazampa. We had some questions about that too. Who does the primordial Buddha pray to or aspire to? Anyway, I'm just filling up time here because nobody's asking anything.
I have a question.
Good, thank you. Lord
Dawn. And what is the best way to honor the passing of a loved one?
Is that from Dawn?
Yeah, that's from Dawn.
Yeah. That is a big question, isn't it, Dawn? I'm sorry about your brother. Dory told many of us, and we prayed for him. Just to step back a little, many historians and sociologists of religion say that the religions of the world mainly, each one arose from the need for people, for tribes, for whatever you called them back then, to deal with death and loss. And where do your grandparents and parents go, or pets for that matter? So it's a big question. And then moreover, how do we deal with that respectfully? We just forget about them? I'm not even going to joke about, just throwing them out or something. So a lot of things have arisen over time, rituals, prayers, beliefs, thoughts about the afterlife, and how to have a savings account or a long-term insurance policy for then. I mean, a long-term insurance is good because we don't know how long we're going to live, but probably we know it's not going to be more than 100 or 120 years. But what about a real long-term insurance policy? We don't know how long after life could be. So what can we do to ensure that? So anything we can do in terms of be good, do good, to make it very basic will help them, because we're all interconnected, especially for somebody that you love, that's in your family, that's your blood, that has the same genes, chromosomes, and maybe even shared your blue genes. I don't know, like me and my brother. Same genes, chromosomes, conditioning, probably accent, way of walking and talking. So many things we just take for granted. Just arguing about our differences, or who we're going to vote for or not vote for, or what religion we should stay in or go to. More practically, we talk about praying for them, lighting candles to help illumine their way. It's not to illumine the statue on your altar or church, really. To offer light, to guide them through the dark passages of the unknown mysteries, whatever you call it, heaven, afterlife, Dante's whole scheme of the different levels, with Buddhism's scheme and Hinduism of many lifetimes, higher rebirths, lower rebirths. So we can also make donations or like do good deeds for them and dedicate it to them. So it adds to their good karma. Our karma is their karma. We're all interconnected. Just like if you get a bad habit, a very bad habit, it probably impinges on your loved ones. Crack babies inherit that from their mothers, I guess, or fathers. I don't know, both, and everything in between. But just more basic. Being an alcoholic brings the whole family system down, probably, So we're all connected and we're all responsible. So whatever you can do. If you get enlightened, helps enlighten him, everybody else, to do virtuous things, to give generously, to serve, to help other people who are similarly afflicted by whatever took him. That's a big part of Mahayana Buddhists' prayers and affirmations and vows. Not just praying for our sick loved one, but including all those who are similarly afflicted. Not just praying or whatever, wishing well, benevolence, radiating loving kindness, compassion, well-wishing, for our deceased loved one, but all those who are similarly flitting through the dark passageways of the bardos, passageways, transitions onto the next phase. So in that way, we expand our heart and our view and our bodhicitta, and not just pray for what we want, like praying, asking Santa to give us what we think we want, which may or may not be good for us. Why wouldn't Santa give me a motorcycle for my 16th birthday? I'm ready. Or worse. Why can't I inherit a liquor store? Why am I just inheriting this funky gas station? I mean, people have all kinds of prayers and wishes. Just check out that world. And we try to refine it ourselves, spiritual refinement. Lojong, bodhicitta training, attitude transformation, including all, less selfish, more altruistic. So that's how we can honor them. Of course, people build hospitals in the name of a deceased or a wing of a hospital or, give scholarships in the name. All these things we can do. You don't need to hear them from me, Dawn. You're an intelligent guy in the great state of New Hampshire, I think.
Yes.
The great state of old New Hampshire there with all that beautiful leaves. So fleeting, so poignant. Autumn is the season of haiku. The magic, the miracle, the beauty, the transient beauty of death, of the dying leaves. We're not talking about your brother now. But death is part of life and the cycle, isn't it? So we also pray that may people die in the right order, not the elders have to bury the youngers. That's much more tragic. Be well, Brother Don. I was in Vermont last week. Kind of leaf peeping, as my friend and I were laughing at all, kind of traffic and things we could see out there that we didn't have to go into. Somehow the pictures on the calendars and all the enhanced pictures on the web are about 3 times better now than nature itself, even in New England. Have you noticed? Our whole culture and mentality is all juiced up to stimulate us and make us want more like that and not like what we have. See if you can find a picture on a calendar or being sold that is not juiced up with high-tech means these days. The brocades of New England. When I see a red tree or a yellow tree in like an old church or something behind it, I try to take a picture just for myself because it moves me to look at that once in a while when I'm waiting online or in an airline terminal. But it's not that juiced up. Look, Eddie Haubin's showing a picture. He probably faked it and made it bright yellow and green when it's just some drab Haubin color. like the Browns, and he always wears. Thanks, Ed, brother Eddie. Thank you, Don. You gotta love it. There's Eddie. Hey, Eddie. Eddie and Jan, his wife, and some of our Jewish friends took me to see their retired rabbi friend Moshe Waldach's one-man stand-up comedy show 3 nights at a theater in Boston recently. And he wrote the big book of Jewish humor, Moshe Waldach. Check it out if you like. And maybe somebody asked him, but maybe he just asked the question to the audience, knowing that this is something people always, Jews think about. What is Jewish humor after all? Now, we're not talking about why so many comedians seem to be Jewish or the Catskills or anything like that. And Rabbi Moshe, retired rabbi, also a psychologist, a wonderful guy, he said, laughing through the tears. Now, I would say that is as Buddhist as anything. What's Buddha's first noble truth? Dukkha, dissatisfactoriness. What did Thich Nhat Hanh say when people asked him about how to deal with suffering? He says, embrace the suffering joyously. Like, what else can you do? That's not masochism. Masochism is a pathology. That's just like a good attitude. Any other questions or thoughts?
Yes.
Laughing through the tears, friends.
How do I help a friend who is getting to the end of life, that is not wanting to die and is grasping to the frail shell of his body and is filled with fear? And that's from Heather Joe.
Yeah. I don't know. And one might wonder, is such a friend asking you? Is it incumbent on you to try to help them? So you have to look into your motivation. And if they're at that stage of life, it seems like they haven't learned much, learned how to let go or age gracefully, or 100 other lessons we might learn in life before it's the last gasp. Of course, you could help them if you listen, lend them an ear, lend them a shoulder, be there for them. Did I say yet? For them, not for you. Be there for them, not with your agenda. That's why I asked you about motivation. Like, are they asking or not? And it's very hard to change, even for ourselves. I've been in this self-transformation biz since I was in college, It was like before the war. It's a long time ago. And it's still hard to change. Still myself, or as my brother said, still yourself, Surya, only more so. Anyway, Heather, it's no joking matter that your friend's suffering so much. Maybe you could talk to her a little, or model that. But we're not really necessarily at our best in our last period or days or months. So that's also a reason to practice and prepare and learn and be self-aware and look into, mortality and impermanence and what can be relied on and what is fleeting and values, priorities. Now, while we have most of our faculties, and I say most, rather than waiting till the last minute and hoping we're going to sit up like a New Age dream, meditating and saying, oh, with our last breath, what if our lungs are filling with blood from one of those diseases and we're drowning in our own lungs? That's not easy to sit up and meditate and say, oh, and, follow some New Age ideal. It's very over-idealistic. So we have to prepare for that. Anyway, I don't know how you can help your friend, but you can have that wish and try. Of course, you could pray for them. They don't even have to know it. You don't have to lay it on them if they're not into that, or pray with them, or meditate, or send them loving kindness and compassion and wish them well, and all those who, similarly afflicted. But also look at your own, side of it. your motivation, and how you can be peaceful with them, be there for them, not for you. And it is hard to die, and we're all attached to, you're talking about being attached to the body and to life. Look what happens when you lose something that you like. Your favorite, I don't know what, just make it up. Your engagement ring from 50 years ago. Why does that matter? But of course it does. To you. And who can say it doesn't? But even smaller things. You lose your cell phone. Everybody can afford, most of us look around, can afford to buy a new cell phone, but it's a big disaster with all the information in it. I lost my address book once before the era of cell phones, like in the 1990s, and I had friends all over the world, and I thought I'm going to lose touch with them all. It didn't matter. Everybody found me that wanted to, or that I wanted to find. It was amazing teaching. So non-attachment helps a lot. I don't know you had this, I haven't seen before, so I'm going to bring out my old example. Non-attachment means letting go a little of the impermanent things that are in any case passing through our fingers so you don't get rope burn. It doesn't mean throwing it away or it doesn't matter. Of course it matters if you pay attention while you're driving. But you don't have to be rigid. You don't have to be uptight and tense. So loosen the grip is a good lesson for us all. And maybe also cultivate your own, self-acceptance and acceptance of others in your friend's difficult passage. Yes, we're all going to die, but who's going to really live? That's a question I've thought about. What is our real life? What are we meant to be doing or choose to do here and together? Thank you all. Love to one and all.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here today. Thank you, Lama. It's awesome always to sit with you and to hear you.
Thank you, Dory. Be well, everybody. Love. Spread the love.